come to feedback on section A, and really well done, everyone. Great, great bunch of students, really proud of you. A little reminder of the question here, and explore the significance of the extract. And you've really got to make sure you know what significance means. It doesn't mean how important is this extract. I don't want paragraphs about why this extract isn't important. So it means, hopefully you can get it into your head if you haven't already, that it's what's this extract about? What's it telling you? How does it further the comedy of the play? How does it make comment? What messages does it tell us? What does it all mean? Okay, that's the only way of not going on with that. And let's move on. So I thought I'd have a quick canter through the message. People wrote really well here about her being on her own, and they wrote really well about the standard vocabulary and address that Cesario is using, and how Olivia is dismissive and able to run rings around Viola, who is, however, able to get her to take her veil off and get into her mind, her psyche, get closer to her. Those are all done really well. Then we have the compliments, the standard compliments. I don't know what that squiggle is on the screen. Very standard compliments. You're the cruelest she alive, the cruel lady trope. And she's still able to be dismissive. And then we get this sort of change in Viola here. Bit less written about that. I see you what you are. I mean, if anyone said that to me, I'd have to go to hospital. Anyway, her developing power in this conversation. Olivia's fighting back with how does he love me? And we get more standard romantic fare. And Olivia very straightforwardly, your Lord does know my mind, I cannot love him. So the further on this passage went, the kind of less I got from it. So a nice comment here, you know, if that happened to me, I wouldn't understand it. They both seem to be talking quite honestly. So he might have took his answer long ago, and if that happened to me, I wouldn't understand it. And then Olivia starts showing this interest. And people were good about writing about the interest. So, you know, well, what would you do if it was you? And this big speech of Viola's got neglected a little bit. It's fair to neglect stuff if you've got nothing to say, but hopefully next year you will. And basically, she is going to be in the Willow cabin, and Olivia is going to be in the big house. So she's going to, you know, if she was married to Olivia, she would carry on being the inferior one. The servant role would continue, and Olivia takes a huge interest after that. Okay, so this is what you're going to get when you get your results back, and you have to know. So I'm just going to go through. If you get this one starred, you have to know where it fits into the play. What's happened immediately before in this scene? She's been talking and running rings round Cesario and asking him if he's a comedian. Before that, she's been talking to her fool and adjudicating between her fool and Malvolio. So you do have to know those things. More importantly, possibly for this, you have to know that Viola is on a mission from Orsino and is herself in love with him. So do an arc overview paragraph. If you've got that starred, I don't know why you didn't know to do that. I can only think that exam nerves overcame you. You have to do an overview of the entire passage for your first, and try and be structural about it. So words like, at the beginning, this is established, the focus shift, the action moves, maybe if there's a climax, even an anti-climax, how the action's resolved, all those sorts of words should be in it. So the next one, good for doing an arc, so good for you. And the next one, you've gone a bit plotty, you've written a summary of the passage, which is a skill in itself, but you do better if you've got features of comedy in there, or if you've got a dramatic method, such as in speaks to the audience, in an aside, in a soliloquy, the unveiling, the symbolic unveiling, you might say, those sorts of things. See if you can get a couple in to lift it. Adverbs would be another one. So commenting on how she says it testily or quickly or dismissively. So get it done in the arc, the end of the passage. For a lot of people, if they didn't want to say very much about Viola building a willow cabin, at least if it's in the arc, that happens, you have addressed it. They want to see that you've got through the whole passage, but do try to write about the very end when she asks, in this case, she asks about the parentage. So make sure you get those in at your planning stage. Entrances, exits, asides. So we've got more dialogue in this one, haven't we? We've got the setting of Olivia's house. You might have said something about that, not much to say. In this one, you've got the being left alone and the unveiling, really. Aspects of comedy, you should have been able to talk about the aristocratic love triangle. You should have been able to talk about disguise. Job done, really. That's all you need. But the language, the ridiculous similes and metaphors of romantic poetry. You might write about same-sex attraction and about the whole class hierarchy being topsy-turvy, with Olivia falling for a servant messenger, a high-class servant. So those sorts of things would be lovely to see. And I think that was done pretty well. So you don't need to conclude, better to make a new point. So make your conclusion about the last two lines. How about that? So don't write in conclusion, just write about the last two lines, and you know that's your conclusion and what it prepares us for, what we're going to be led on to. A lot of people got quoting or using details. You've got to put them in. If you're talking about the dialogue, if you're saying she's being dismissive, I want quote, quote, quote. If you're saying she's fighting back, I want quote, quote, quote. If you're saying that it's a personal, an intimate moment, I want quotes. So you can't write about who has got the power, who's dominating, who's taking over. I need many more quotes if you're writing about dialogue, which you should have been. And a few people got this, went on too long about what led us here, or went into the rest of the play. In the examiner's report that you saw before these exams, the AQA are very clear that it's all about the passage. But if you're writing about what the audience knows, that Viola's in disguise, that Orsino sent her there, then you're automatically doing the rest of the play. Okay. Right, well done everybody, and over and out.